Hello, everybody. Welcome to Performance Talks on Wednesday evening with Red Queen Consulting. I'm Chris Alexander, the principal owner, and host of the talks. Tonight, we are going to be talking about performance coaching, what it is, what it means, very brief overview. And this dovetails onto the talk we had last week, which was team effectiveness, the 7 drivers of team effectiveness and what matters in team effectiveness and performance. So this is kind of the next step, the next idea. And if we understand what team performance is, then why do you need a performance coach? So we're going to talk about really quick, what is it? Like when I say performance coaching, what does it mean? Slightly different in the business world than it is in the athletic world. How do coaches support team performance, and what's the difference between internal and external coaches in terms of performance? Last one's kind of a minor point, but I think it's worth bringing up. So overall, performance coaching, what is it? Working within and throughout an organization to analyze, diagnose, and improve the overall productivity of its teams. Now, it's interesting. There's a couple of kind of short. It's a short definition, but there's a couple of kind of big concepts in there. One, productivity. What does that mean? Well, it means all those things listed there. So throughput, the actual amount of task work completed, the amount of product shipped, the amount of volume delivered, the amount of calls handled, like whatever that metric is in terms of how do you measure productivity. Also quality. So if you have certain quality standards, certainly in software, certainly in code, certainly in hardware, certainly in lots of manufacturing, what are the quality standards? Alignment to value, how well is the project manifest and the overall program portfolio aligned to value, or is it? We've all worked in companies before where we're working on things and nobody can really tell you why they're working on it or how that drives value for the company. So that affects productivity, because if you're working on low value work, you may be producing a lot, but you're not producing a lot of value. So aligned to value, that's goal accomplishment. How well are we achieving the goals and objectives we set out to achieve within a certain time frame, whether that's near, medium, or long term. And then self-guided improvement. So part of productivity is being able to improve the process over time to produce more at higher quality, aligned to value, all the things. So they play together. Those aren't separate concerns. They're all parts of the same network. Then the other big one that's in there, the kind of the elephant in the room, is within and throughout the organization, right? And within and throughout the organization means it's not just about what the team can do to get better. It's about what the organization can do to enable the team to get better. Because the things that the team can actually control themselves in order to improve their productivity, they'll just do that. The bigger problem is the things that the organization needs to do to enable the team. That's where leadership comes in, cross-organization, cross-function, cross-department, cross-division, cooperation, collaboration. How do we work across, I hate to say across silos, because really you should remove the silo if you need to work across it. Why is it there? It's probably there for a political reason, not an organizational functioning reason. So having things in place for political reasons is not good. Having things in place for organizational functioning reasons could be. Should always evaluate that. But that's the other part of what performance coaching is. It's understanding within the organization what needs to change for the team to improve. If they've improved everything they can within their sphere of control, it's up to the leadership in the organization to enable the team to move beyond that. Hope that makes sense. So when we talk about what exactly is coaching for performance beyond the definition, what does that really look like, and how does a performance coach work within the organization? So we look back at the last thing we covered last week, which was the effectiveness drivers for team performance. That was capability, cooperation, coordination, communication, cognitions, conditions, and coaching. And so the performance coach is focused on not only understanding all of those and understanding where the team is proficient or deficient or sufficient in different items, but we're also understanding how does that work in relationship to the team distinctions, right? And that's, each team has a certain degree of reliance and stability and task consistency, and they work in a certain level of proximity and they have certain levels of similarity. So those team distinctions, right, determine how the team needs to function and what types of coordination, cognitions, conditions, like what capabilities you need in order to achieve what goals. So we're trying to kind of match those and marry those up. And we're ultimately, it's supposed to be looking at making sure that the team is functioning in a domain appropriate way. And what do I mean by that? I mean, if we go on down, sorry, we're going to skip this really quick, come back to it if we need to. If we go down to the team distinctions, we're looking at that reliance, stability, task consistency, proximity, similarity, right? What we're really concerned with is, are we more stable? Are we more on the left? Are we more on the right? And how do the drivers of team effectiveness need to shift or adjust in order to enable us to work in that way, right? So if we need to work more like a group, we have low reliance, maybe we're virtual, so we're low proximity, we have highly interchangeable skills, anybody can kind of do any work, the tasks are pretty routine and mundane, right? Then we can adjust the way that the team functions and the way that the cognitions in the 7 C's work, the types of processes we use, the types of communication channels, the durations that we can go between updates, how often we need to update, what that update needs to entail. All of those things can shift, and we need to be aware of that. And that's what performance coaching is about, is understanding and making sure that based on what the goals and objectives are, how we need to work, what we're going to work on, and what we have available to us, how does that match up and align to what we need to be able to organize ourselves in terms of the 7 C's, the 7 drivers of team effectiveness, in order to be maximally effective as a team. And then the last part of that is going back to the point about outside the context of the team, that's within the team organizationally, but then external to the team, what are the other factors, the environments, the conditions that we came up earlier, and what leadership changes or support or behaviors do we need in order to enable the team to be more successful, right? So, and to be more productive. Sorry, I don't like the word successful. That's kind of a nebulous word, but we'll say in this sense, productive. Better quality, better alignment to value, better. So those are the things that matter in terms of productivity. And performance coaching is about coaching the team, coaching leaders, coaching outside the organization, outside the team into the organization, to make sure that we're all working and aligned to what will help the teams overall. So that's a very, very systems thinking approach, systems of systems, and involves a lot of understanding of complexity. So obviously organization is complex, culture is complex, people are a complex adaptive system. So there's no way around that. So what sorts of methodologies, what types of methodologies, what types of interventions, and what types of modifications, processes would serve us best, and how do we best approach that? It's a dialogue and a discussion. It's not a mandate, and it's not a directive. And we avoid, specifically at Red Queen, we avoid the slapdash, try to think of a better phrase than slapdash, but the simple application of a framework, like you should just use Scrum or you should just use SAFe. I'm not saying that you should not. I'm saying we come to that at the end of the question, not at the beginning. So first we want to understand all the other things, and then we can talk about, based on what the distinctions are, based on what the roles and responsibilities of the team are, based on what effectiveness drivers we will need to prioritize and focus on the most, maybe where we're the most efficient, or where we're not able to apply what would work best because of organizational constraints. What would perhaps be the options available to us in going forward and forming the team? That is what performance coaching is. And with that, I'm going to pause the recording. We can then move on to any questions if anyone has any. And if you've got any questions for me or Red Queen Consulting at any time, there's our contact info. Please get in touch. Thank you.